Level 1, the Summer Analyst. There is no onboarding. There is a revolving door at 200 West Street. And an expectation that you already know which elevator bank to take. You're 22. You have a 3.9 GPA, you led 4 clubs. You completed 2 prior internships and so did everyone else standing in this lobby, all 80 of you. The class is identical on paper, and that is the point. Your badge does not work on your first morning. You stand at the turnstile for 90 seconds. Nobody stops, nobody asks, you figure it out. The summer pays $17,000 total, $11 per hour after tax. The McDonald's across the street starts at $16. You have calculated this, you do not say it out loud. You work until 2 a.m. most nights, you rebuild slides. You check formatting on exhibits that will not be opened until Friday. You learn that a comment dropped at 11:30 p.m. means a revised version is expected before 7. You discover your body will run on 5 hours if you leave it no other option. You knew the terms when you accepted the offer. At the end of 10 weeks there is a performance review, you receive the return offer. That is the win, that is what you came for. You don't think about what it costs yet, that changes. Level 2, the Analyst, you don't have a salary. You have $110,000 base and a number that rewrites the last 4 years in a single sentence. You're 23, there are 80 analysts in your class. Fewer than 5% of that class will ever reach managing director. You do not keep this fact in the front of your mind. You have developed a particular skill for knowing things without acting on them. $110,000 base. The cheapest studio apartment within walking distance of the office runs $4,200 per month. $50,400 per year before utilities. You do that math once and stop. You average somewhere above 95 hours per week. Finance sector surveys will eventually report an average banking week of 77.73 hours. On your floor, 77 is a light week. You sleep when the work stops. The work stops around 1 a.m. on a good night and not at all on others. Your body adapts, you tell yourself this is what adaptation feels like. You are partly right. Bonus season, $40,000 gross, $24,000 after tax. That number rewrites your mood for exactly 1 afternoon. Then the analyst at the next desk mentions his number was $65,000. The conversation does not continue, you both return to your screens. You tell yourself you will leave for the buy side in 2 years. Every analyst on your floor has the same plan. Level 3, the Senior Analyst, you don't have experience. You have a reputation that lives entirely inside the evaluations of 7 people. Those 7 people are the only world that matters right now. You're 25. $125,000 base, bonuses discussed in ranges. You have learned not to let the range become a number in your head until it actually arrives. You can rebuild a merger model from memory in under 4 hours. You know which partner reads the full deck and which reads only the executive summary. You know the correct answer to "can you just take a quick look at this" is to assume nothing about it is quick. You produce the 2 a.m. revision by 6. You send it before the first managing director is at their desk. Not because anyone asked you to, because that is the pace that needs no explanation. You have watched 2 analysts, both sharper than you in separate ways, not get promoted. One left before the decision arrived. The other received the news at the end of his 2nd year in a brief conversation that had not been scheduled. The work was not the issue, you have never identified what was. You do not ask, the asking is not how it works here. The hours have not changed, what has changed is your relationship to them. You no longer register 1 a.m. as late, you register it as Tuesday. You try not to think about what that shift reveals. You execute at a level almost nobody here reaches. You try not to think about what executing at that level has required of everything else. Level 4, the Associate, you don't have a promotion. You have a Wharton MBA, $220,000 in student loans. And 2 years of your life redirected toward a title you could have reached by staying. You're 28. $175,000 base, $75,000 first-year bonus, total compensation approaching $400,000. You send your parents the number, you do not describe what produces it. You are staffed on a $4.2 billion acquisition. Your name is not in the press release. You are in the data room at 1 a.m. confirming that the footnotes in the disclosure schedule match the model exactly. The deal closes, there is a dinner at a restaurant in Tribeca. You are not at the dinner. You manage 4 analysts now. You hear yourself using phrases you absorbed 3 years ago from someone you did not like. The phrases are effective. You use them again. You try not to think about who taught them to you. A Goldman internal survey surfaces this year. Analysts rated their mental health at 9 out of 10 before they started. After their first months in role, the average dropped to 2.8, a 69% decline. Physical health fell from 8.8 to 2.3. You do not take the survey, you already know your own number. You have everything required to reach the next level. The next level measures different things. Level 5, the vice president, you don't have a team. You have a team of 6, 2 associates, 4 analysts. And a calendar that owns your week before you've expressed a preference about it. You're 33. $250,000 base, total compensation up to $400,000 in a good year. A good year means the market cooperated, and you were positioned to receive that cooperation. Managing relationships is the job. Concretely, a client calls Saturday morning and you answer Saturday morning. The conversation is productive. It costs you the only 2 unscheduled hours in a week that had no other unscheduled hours. You tell yourself this is what the vice president title requires, demonstrating you can hold a relationship under real conditions. You said that last year, you mean it less this time. You are not sure when that question started feeling rhetorical. Goldman's retention desk makes calls this year, second-year analysts with private equity offers. You have watched this happen twice in the last 6 months. More than 3/4 of the junior bankers on your floor want out to the buy side. The desk exists because Goldman has calculated that keeping is cheaper than replacing. You watch the calculus from your side of it and do not locate yourself clearly in either position. You have watched 3 colleagues leave in the past 18 months. All 3 took positions that paid less in cash. All 3, when you spoke to them afterward, sounded like people who had opened a window. You told yourself you understood their reasoning. You did understand. You are less comfortable with why you did not follow them than you expected to be. The title is the loudest argument you have for why this has been worth it so far. Level 6, the managing director, you don't have a career. You have a book of business with your name on it. And a compensation figure that ends most conversations before they reach their real subject. You're 38. Your first originated deal as MD, a $2.1 billion merger. Your name is in the press release. Total compensation this year, $1.2 million. That is the number. It is also a threshold nobody warned you about, the point at which the cost of leaving becomes large enough to always defer. You are on a flight to London on Thursday evening. Your daughter's school play was Thursday evening. You knew about the conflict 2 weeks in advance. The client commitment was already confirmed. You watch the recording on the plane. She has 3 lines. She hits every one. You send a voice message at 6 a.m. London time. She is asleep. You pocket the phone and open the pitch deck. You logged 43 flights last year. You have the same conversation with yourself on a meaningful number of those flights. It does not resolve. You have learned to table it until the next one. You tell your associates to protect their weekends. You say it at team dinners and believe it when you say it. You have not done it yourself in 4 years. You do not have a name for the distance between the advice and the practice. You have stopped looking for one. Every title below this one was preparation. This title is the destination. The next London flight is already on the calendar. Level 7, the partner, you don't have a career anymore, you have a position. You are one of 400 Goldman Sachs partners out of 45,000 employees. Of the 80 summer analysts in your starting class, fewer than 1 in 100 of the firm's total headcount ever reaches this title. Statistically, none of your class should be here. You're 44. 1 year $4.8 million, the prior year $3.2 million. The variance between those two numbers exceeds the total compensation of most of the people who work for you. You no longer think about the number the way you once thought about numbers. It arrives, you move to the next problem. Your son texts on your birthday, he texts on major holidays. It is consistent and predictable. It is also the complete visible surface area of a relationship that used to be something different. You know this, he probably knows this. Neither of you has found the language for the distance. Your doctor uses the word stress with follow-up questions instead of a prescription. You schedule the follow-up, you reschedule it once, you keep the second appointment. Your marriage is over, there was no single moment. There was a decade of individually defensible absences, each absorbed, each setting the conditions for the next. You were traveling for most of them, you were working for the others. Every individual decision was rational, the accumulation was not. You try to find the inflection point, the exact moment where winning became something else. You cannot locate it. The mechanism is not visible from inside. The institution does not take from you, it offers you the conditions under which you take from yourself. You have arrived at the top. The person who started climbing is not the person standing here. There is a summer analyst in the lobby this morning. He is holding his badge. Press suit, reading the floor numbers above the elevator. He has a 3.9 GPA, he led 4 clubs, he completed 2 prior internships. He is one of 80, his badge does not work at the turnstile. He stands there for 90 seconds, nobody stops, nobody asks. The institution does not begin this way to break you. It begins this way because the ones who stay are the ones who never needed anyone to stop. It always finds them.